See if this is working nicely here. Yeah, seems to be okay. Okay. Let me check my audio levels real quick. Yeah, seems good enough. It's having some issues before. Yeah, so I'm going to continue with what I was doing last time, and just update on what's going on here. So the last video I made, I was showing my base and everything, and I did some changes like usual, but nothing, I didn't like redo the entire base or anything. I just did some smaller changes, and I'll explain what I've done. Yeah, I'm just basically streaming what I'm doing. Like, usually this is stuff I do off camera, but kind of bored, so I'm gonna stream it. I guess I can start with some of the changes while robots finish making some stuff. So my frame rate drops because there's so many freaking robots. But the basic like principle of my base is exactly the same, with the same amount of production. I just changed a couple of things, and my base is still growing, which is the mantra of this game, so that's nice. So let me go back to my bot mall. Okay, I guess I'll start the bot mall. So I got my 5-man death squad here, and it's Spidertrons, and they're all following this red one. The red one would be Charles III. I got Snurgan, Mosbius from Mosbius Designs, Gregory, and Frederick Thorndahl. So these guys are my little kill squad for if any biters spawn in my massive pollution cloud, or if there's just any biters in here in general, I'm going to send these guys out, and hopefully I get it on video. Not that it's particularly exciting, but if any biters come into this little red cloud here, they're going to get targeted for execution here. So that's how I've been keeping my base more defended, even though it's perfectly defended right now with all this stuff, which I've went over in my other streams. But even with all these defenses, they'll still run up on the base and try to cause trouble. So I send out my little kill squad here, and they'll clean out the biter nests, and then they will just literally will stop. That's it. Like that. The only reason they're attacking is because they're in the pollution cloud and they're absorbing pollution, and then they'll come in and try to start trouble. But anyway, so I started working on some quality. I mean, it's really bad though. Like, this is not how you should do quality. Like, it's a learning process for me. I started doing some quality stuff, but like, as you can see, these machines aren't even running because it's just, the supplies are just not happening. Like, I need more speed module 1s, which I'm making here, but I'm making them kind of slowly because I just, oh, wife's texting me. Just telling her I'm streaming. Anyway, making them kind of slowly, and it just kind of sucks. So I'm revamping some stuff. That's the point of the stream. So the only quality things I really wanted at this point was assembly machines, obviously modules, quality modules, and then these asteroid collectors. I have 2 now. These legendary ones are freaking awesome, and I'll show you why. That one, just for comparison, here's a legendary one, and it has the collection area. If you look on the bottom right of that pop-up on the bottom right of the tooltip, collection area, collection arm max speed, arm count, collection arm usage, storage, health, it's all upped with the legendary quality. And if you look at a regular one, you can see how much slower it is. It's less arms, less storage, less everything. So the legendary version, you can see the collection field's way bigger, is just way better. So it's great for your ships. And I did some work on this ship a little bit. I'll come back to it. But yeah, these legendary asteroid collectors are awesome. So I'm slowly working on those. I'm slowly working on quality, but I'll cover everything here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send these up to the ship, and it's not, the reason I'm manually doing this is because I only have, what is this, 2 of these, and you need 10 for a rocket automatically, so 2 is not going to automatically fill a rocket, so I'll just manually send them up for now. And I've seen people on subreddit really confused by how like this manual and automatic rocket stuff goes, and a quick way to describe it or explain it is if you look at an item and you see like the stack size and rocket capacity, if you fill up the rocket width to the capacity, it will automatically launch. That's the gist of it. So if you want anything lower than that, you're going to have to come onto a ship and click on custom minimum payload and then input, you know, how much you want that's less than the full stack size to fill a rocket. Otherwise, do what I just did, and you can do it with inserters too if you want. Just slap the items in and manually launch it. Actually, I'm not sure if you can do that with inserters. I think that's part of the confusion, but the point is, use the minimum item count for picking up stuff on the ship. Otherwise, do it manually yourself, or you know, it's like it's kind of the game's encouraging you to do everything efficiently, basically. So, yeah, I only had 2 of these, so I just manually sent them up. But anyway, yeah, I was just working on some quality, not like passively, you know, not like aggressively doing it. I got some working on these solar panels. I was trying to upgrade my solar panels a little bit. I got started, as you can see. And it's really like, this is really irrelevant stuff because it's like barely any extra power, but I don't know. I was just curious to see how much more power this will put out. So I guess I'll keep going with these changes. So I showed my whole base in detail last video. Some of the changes I made was I went back to some of my designs, not many, and I went with the splitter design where you split. If you split a belt 2 different ways, like this belt right here, this vertical belt, is going to get saturated on both sides from both of these splitters. And then, if you want to be like fancy, you can split it again so that now you have the split items going in 2 different directions. So it's pretty neat. It looks really cool when you do it like that. And I mean, you generally don't want to have like too many splitters if you're getting like mega base level, but I don't have a mega base, so it's okay. I'm using extra splitters. Plus, it looks really cool, and actually, this doesn't need to be here. And it's really, it works well. Okay, so that now they're finally churning out some speed modules. So that's what this cell is. I just made a cell for speed module 1s, just specifically. So I can get these assembly machine 3s churned out faster so I can work more on quality ones. I made a cell over here for assembly machine 1s for the same purpose. So here's my design for mass producing assembly machine 1s. Just green circuits and iron. And there's that. And unfortunately, like most things in this game, you cannot put productivity modules in here. So they're just not beaconed or moduled, but that's okay. This is really just like extra credit at this point. Reading my phone. So I was mentioning last video too, I wanted to dabble with the foundries a little bit in production, so I tried my hand at it. This is just like a proof of concept, so this is not like a finalized design per se. So here's some miners. Big mining drill, picking up some iron ore, and I got some calcite by requester chest because you really don't use that much calcite, so there's no need to like worry about making some like epic calcite like logistics. You just get a requester chest, will do it. So I got the foundries with the iron ore and calcite, and they're just turning that into molten iron. And then I just storing it in some storage tanks here, and then it gets taken out, and right next door, because I just was trying this out really, I just have it dropped off here and then brought into these foundries. And then all you need for iron plates is just casting iron recipe, which is just molten iron. So all of those come over here and then comes down here to making, yes, cat, in making iron plates. I only have this set up for one train right now. I could make it so much bigger and cooler, but I was just trying it out. It seems to work well, so I'll expand upon that. But that's kind of the point of the video, is I was working on some stuff and I noticed some stuff could be better or bigger, so I'm working towards that. And then finally, here's assembly machine 2s. They just take, so here's that split out design again. Assembly machine 1, steel, green circuits, and iron plates. And I had, it's a little bit too many trains for one cell with the standard design. Like the standard design would be 4 trains, so technically this would be 5. So I had to do a little split here. So I take the assembly machine 1s, do a half nubbin design that I mentioned in the last video, bring it over here, and then split it with the steel, and then it just comes down. I actually wanted to mention too, when I design these things for like newer players to know, when you look at a recipe for an item, the number of ingredients required is going to be how you're going to design stuff. Because everybody, I see a lot of people on the subreddit talking about like ratios and using calculators and all this stuff, and I'm like, that's great, people do that, like especially when you get to like really complicated or big designs. But for like an average player, for the most part, you don't need to do any of that. So when you're designing stuff, just look at the numbers here. So like, this is why this looks like the way this is designed. So I looked here and I saw I needed 2 steel plates, 5 iron gear wheels. I mean, you can read it, what I needed. So I noticed the 2 highest items were iron gear wheels and electronic circuits. So the highest item being the iron gear wheels, that basically told me I probably want to just direct insert it if I can. So that's what I did. So here's the assembly machine making the iron gear wheels, and I have a long-handed inserter just bringing it straight over. So I took care of that ingredient. So direct insertion, because the number was so much higher than the other items. The next highest item was green circuits or electronic circuits, and that told me that I should probably just have its own dedicated like entire belt. So I brought a train in, it has its own belt, it's not mixed. Then I looked at the other 2 items, and they were two steel plates, 1 assembly machine 1, and considering, and you still have to consider some other things like the crafting time of these items individually, like how long does it take to get steel plate, how many trains do you have, blah 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 blah. Factoring all that in, you know, subconsciously, because it's not like I sit here and plan this stuff out. I thought about it and I was like, I only need 2 steel plates, 1 assembly machine. I'll just throw them on trains, bring them in, and split them. And my cat is going nuts right now. And that's it. So I just put them in some belts, split them down the middle, and brought them in here, and they feed into the assembly machine 2 recipe. And that's how I did that design. And it's like, I'm mentioning all this because I hear people talking about how they do designs, and I see a lot of designs on subreddit, and it's like, not that my designs are amazing, because they're not, but it's like, it's kind of not that complicated. It only gets really complicated when you get into like a lot of mods, like C-Block or Nullius or Pyanodons, stuff like that, which I have not even played, but I'm just, what I've seen and heard, that's when you get really complicated, because the recipes have much more ingredients, and they'll have byproducts. So like, instead of this just making assembly machine 2, it would also make like something else, then I have to deal with that, and that's really complicated. But this is not, like, just the base game, you don't necessarily have to deal with that level of complexity. So just look at your items. This is my point. Look at your recipes, see what you need. If it's a ton of items, see if you can direct insert it. If you're using trains, try to put stuff individually, like without splitting it, I mean, on its own belt, because you don't want, you want as much item getting to the assembly machine as possible. So when you split it, you're only getting half of that item. But anyway, that's a basic design philosophy I just wanted to share. So I'm gonna use this cell for some iron ore production, because look at this beautiful patch right here. That's why it's empty. So I finalized the blueprint for fusion reactors, and I just put it here, and this is it. Like, there's really not much to it. I don't really like fusion reactors because of how annoying Aquilo is to me personally, and I don't like how the designs look and what's required, and I just don't really like it. So I put it here just to put it here because it gives me, I think I was at 4.5 gigawatts, so this is my gigawatt fusion reactor design. Gave me another gigawatt. It's good, but I'm just not in love with the design. And while I'm talking, let me do some things. And when I set these things down, I generally do it to where it looks like it's even, but I'm not going to like bust out a ruler or level and try to make it perfect. I don't care that much. I just want it to look, eyeballing it looks pretty nice. And then yes, I just put that over iron ore patch, but I don't really, I was like, there's so much ore in this map. I went a little crazy with the map generation and allowed for a lot of ore, I guess. So the reason why I put that compact nuclear design down is because I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to clear off this area up here, just this whole area where my mouse cursor is, and put more cells here and just keep pushing up. And that's where I'm going to start doing quality stuff. So one of the changes I made was I moved this wall, this defensive wall here. It used to be further back where these cells are now, and I just moved it up to line up with this wall. So these are lined up. So that this whole line right here, I can put some more cells. There's another 1, 2, 3, 4 more cells, or more, because I have all this space here. I can't really fit a cell here, unfortunately. I mean, I could if I just moved my defensive wall down. Yeah, see how it's getting too close to that wall. But that's okay. I can always expand in any way I want. I'm just trying to keep a general footprint of within these walls here. So. Oh, and I got rid of that biter. I had a captive biter spawner here, and you could see what I did with it because that's a nuclear explosion crater. And I just used these for my biter eggs. I also redid the biter egg cell a little bit. I put some rocket turrets here, some more laser turrets. I closed it up with walls, and I double closed the walls. Not that any of these biters are going to do anything because they're just big biters. And I'm upgraded pretty well here, but just in case they did, I don't know, and it looks cool, so. Anyway, so yeah, there's my fusion reactor design. I went over it a little in my last video. I'll go over it again, just for newer players. It's basically, you take, and I looked this up, it's pronounced fluoroketone. So I wasn't sure how to say it in my last video, but it's fluoroketone. So, you take some fluoroketone, which I get from Aquilo in barrels, and I keep having to flush this tank because I did not design this well and I need to redesign it, but I don't really care right now, so that's whatever. I'll get back to that at some point. Anyway, you get your fluoroketone, and I have it barreled right here. I just take some off of another building, like this was making the rail guns, like on your person, not the turrets. I was making some rail guns, so I siphoned some fluoroketone off here in this line, and I had some steel barrels. So there's some barrel fluoroketone. I have it come in by a requester chest, and then there's a recipe. It's really just that simple, and then I just put it in its storage tank and then shoot it into the fusion reactors. Then some fusion reactors take the cold fluoroketone and their fusion cells, I forgot what they're called, fusion power cells, and they shoot plasma into these fusion generators, and then the fusion generators generate electricity, and they output some hot fluoroketone, and then I gather all the hot fluoroketone from all the fusion generators, put it in the storage tank, shoot it back to this cryogenic plant, and then the cryogenic plant cools it into cold fluoroketone, and then shoots it back into the fusion reactors. So I went over this process last video, but there's another summary of it. because the game doesn't, as far as I know, I didn't look very hard, but the game doesn't really explain how to do fusion per se, or very well, or I don't know. Didn't really care. I just had to figure it out. It's not very complicated, but it's different than what I expected it to be. So there's like a gigawatt fusion reactor. And then I brought some more nuclear reactors in. I gotta say, I like nuclear better than fusion. Like I think fusion is better, like it's more efficient way of generating electricity, or it's easier to output more electricity, but that kind of depends on how well your Aquila base is, and my Aquila base sucks. So it's way easier for me to just slap down some nuclear reactors at this point. And yes, I know you need water, but water is just, look at all this water. It's like, it's not a concern. Plus, all you gotta do to get more water is you can just get water from a source and train it over, and that's it. Whereas with fluoric ketone or fusion power cells or any of these ingredients, I have to get them from Aquila, and it's a pain in the butt. So here's some more nuclear reactors. I took down I had a big reactor. I think it was my original nuclear reactor I made like a few years ago. This is like a whatever gigawatt design. I don't really know how much power that is because I'm too lazy to check it out, but that was my old design. I got rid of it and split it in half basically and made it more symmetrical. So I did the math. These are by themselves without putting out, like right now, this is putting out around 600 megawatts. I was basically what I said in my first video of this new base was I was saying this is about 600 megawatts. It's a little more complicated than that because as you can see when you hover over a steam turbine, it says your power output and available power. So it doesn't always produce the max amount of electricity it possibly can. It produces what it needs to, and you can see it on your production. That's just how it generally works in this game. Generally speaking, I'm sure there's exceptions. I'm not like 100% knowledgeable on this. You produce electricity in amounts that's needed, not necessarily how much that is possible. So this could provide a little bit more electricity, but it's only producing around, I tried this in the editors, these are producing around 550 megawatts, somewhere around there, but they can go higher a little bit. So that's why there's so many too. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here's 7, and then, but this is going to replace one of these, and then I'm going to replace the next one. So let me just do that. And doesn't it feel nice to just slap down just entire like nuclear designs without even remotely worrying about it? Because all the parts I need for it are made in my bot mall, so I just not worried about supplies. I do however many I need. So I'm going to come up here and hook up this water though. And I should have blueprinted this cell. I should blueprint a lot of my stuff, but I don't. I kind of like doing it by hand. I don't know. Like, it's not very efficient, but I enjoy it. Oh, and I need to move this train. Here's where I get the uranium ammo for this defensive wall here. I had to move this train station up here for the ammo, or over here. But that's the point of this video. I'm doing stuff like that. And it says I'm low on pipes, which is just ridiculous given the size of the space. But if I come over here, you can see I just don't have that many pipes and they're not ready. So I'm going to go ahead and just get those going here. So I need some water for these bad boys. I think there's water under here, and I'm going to try something real quick. Let me see. No, that's just dirt. Okay. Is there water over here? I know there's water like really close by. Well, I mean, it's right there, but I thought I built this on water, but I seem to be mistaken. How about over here? Is there water here? It's dirt as well. Okay. Oh, I'll just have to get the water from like literally right there. It's not a big deal. So I like to do, as evidenced down here, I'm not sure the math behind this, but I just have an underground or offshore pump for each input of my heat exchangers. Oh, what's up, dude? Just got a text from you. What is this text from my wife? Anyway, so I like to do like one offshore pump for each input of these heat exchangers, and then it goes down to the other stack. I mentioned they changed the fluid physics a little bit, or the fluid mechanics, so I don't know the math like I was saying. But so I'm just gonna do one offshore pump and put some storage tanks for each of these inputs, and then call it a day. You know, I don't know. I'm not that guy. So for some reason I don't have offshore pumps on me, and I'm gonna put that in my logistics supplies because you should always have in a base like this anyway. What are these stacked to? 20? Just say 20. In the meantime, I will just set them up here. So I'll probably just do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, child. My cat is meowing incessantly. I'm gonna put the storage tanks right here. Oh my goodness! I know. Why are you yelling at me? Actually, hold on. Maybe she's locked out of the garage or something. She is just ridiculous right now. I'll be right back. It's like 10 seconds. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? Why is Maisie yelling at me?
Because you're not listening to her.
Like, I'm sitting here streaming and all I hear is like...
Anytime you're doing something that she's not 100% has your attention, she's freaked.
Apparently...
She's mad that I'm in the office and you're in here talking.
She's mad that I'm trying to make my factory more efficient. Like, leave me alone. Anyway, so I'm gonna put some storage tanks here. I think I'll do 6. I mean, this is overkill. Everything is overkill. This kind of stuff. Let's put it like that, I guess. Which I mean, is this limiting fluid throughput because it's not a pump? Like, I don't know. You know. Yeah. So you can see these immediately just start filling with water. So let's get this. Oh, and I need to put. Let me get these going too. You know what? I really do want to just copy this other cell I have, like, really bad. It's really annoying having to do this, and I really should change the blueprint. It's really annoying that I haven't done that as well, but that's, you know, that's part of the process. Okay, so these are covered. Yeah, this is what I do off camera, this kind of stuff. It's not particularly exciting per se, but it's necessary. Alright, so there's all the fluid that I'll need for these nuclear reactors, and then now they're just waiting. I've already got some power cells going in, some uranium fuel cells, and then they'll just slowly heat up. I haven't really explained how nuclear works because it's pretty easy, especially compared to fusion, but I guess I can just explain real fast. It's really easy. You basically get nuclear reactors, you connect them with some heat pipes. If they're close together like this, you'll get a neighbor bonus, and as you can see in the tooltip, you'll get a little bit more power out of them. You're going to feed them uranium fuel cells. When the fuel cell, which is indicated by this red bar, is spent, you'll get a depleted uranium fuel cell, and I just have active provider chest taking it, and then it gets sent over here, and then it takes the depleted uranium fuel cell and turns it into just regular uranium-238, and then that gets put back into my network. my logistics network, and I don't even remember what I do with them. I think they either go, I don't think they go in these chests, but they go somewhere. I think they get processed by these recycling machines at some point. Well, maybe not. I don't know. That's a, you can do whatever you want. Well, that was my point. But anyway, you put the uranium fuel cell in, you get a depleted uranium fuel cell out. Connect the heat pipes to these heat exchangers, and it's important to note the difference here because you have boilers and then you have heat exchangers. It's the same. It's like a palette swap, color swap here. Boilers you're going to use for water at the beginning of the game, generate electricity, and then heat exchangers you're going to use for the more power, basically. So get your heat exchangers, pipe them up, connect them to these steam turbines, and basically these heat up enough to that your heat exchangers take that heat and they turn the water inside of them into steam, and then the steam goes in these steam turbines, and then they turn it into electricity. So it's basically TLDR, nuclear reactors, uranium fuel cells, water, steam turbines, heat exchangers, pipes. So there's that one, but I need to put some water to this one as well. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do some cursed piping here, which I don't really want to do, but... And you know what? Since I'm piping that, let me pipe this too. Or I mean, pumping that, let me pump this too. Another regular pipe here. Yeah, I want to line these up a little bit so it looks a little bit aesthetic. Okay, so here. And the funny thing is with nuclear reactors, like I forgot to put the, because my blueprint needs to be redone. I didn't put these roboports here, so they're not even online. Like this is no fuel, so look at the temperature, 15 degrees Celsius. So this isn't even operational until it gets some fuel in it. And then you have to wait for it to heat up to at least, as you can see on the steam turbine, 500 degrees Celsius. You have to wait till these heat up to at least 500 to start actually generating power. So basically my point is you got time after you set it up to make any small changes. Okay, so that's in the logistics network now. Let's get these pipes sorted out. Unfortunately, that is just not long enough, but that's okay. And I don't know if this is enough water, but I'll keep an eye on it. It should be. The way water works, yeah. Okay, so... And there's a circuit. You can do circuits and make it so it doesn't use as much uranium fuel cell, but uranium fuel cells are just so easy to come by. I have them made here. I only have literally 4 assembly machines in my entire base making them, and it's more than enough. They build really fast. They build really easily. Like, it's just not that deep. I'm actually not even maxed on these, and I don't care. Like, there's only 10 in this chest, and it's like, who cares? Because they're so, you just barely use them, and they're just so easy to make. Anyway, so these are heating up. Yeah, and you'll know it's working, or at least starting to work, when you see the steam come out of these bad boys. So if you look at my power, yeah, I'm above 5.6, so this is already doing like 300 megawatts, I'd say. And it'll when it gets up to temp, it'll sort itself out. So right now there's just not much steam, and it's just not really fully online, but it is online. So there's the 2 nuclears. So let me just put my little icon here. Not that I can't tell what it is just by glancing at it, because it's obviously my nuclear design. And I'm going to tear these down because I just wanted these basically here. So these need to go away now. So there's a couple ways I can do this, but basically my base bots are really just, it's a big base, so it's going to take them a minute to get over there. So I'll try to do it with bots. Oh, I made a couple more changes too. For instance, this is my science lab, 2 cells where I pick up all the science here and then I put them in labs here. I've showed it a couple times. I changed all the belts here to the turbo turbo, like the max level, and I started using stack inserters here because I started collecting stack inserters and building them on Gleba. So it stacks the science, as you can see, in these neat little piles, so basically more items per belt. And that translates to less beltery. So reading some Wheel of Time. That's what I'm talking about. I was reading a text message. How many years since I started playing Factorio? Oh boy. Let me see if I can even... Well, I have 700 hours in my save, my main save, and then on my wife's computer, which I don't... Usually it shows, I don't see it on my screen. Oops. Where is the... Anyway, I have 700 hours on my main save, 708 hours. And then my wife's computer, I played this for 200 hours. So I've got about 900 hours altogether. But that's not all this year or last year. I've been playing it for a few years, on and off. Like, Factorio is a game where you just play it whenever you feel like it, whether that's all day, every day, or, you know, take a break, whatever you want to do. And I just noticed this little bad boy right here. I should just put these back in these trains, but this will take a minute. I don't really feel like doing it, but I'm already here, so I guess I will. Yeah, I'm making these videos. Anybody who's like really good at the game is like nowhere near impressed with anything I'm doing here. This is mostly like for my own personal like edification and newer players who don't know, like, have a lot of questions. They feel free to ask me at any point. And these are full, so I guess I can't put those in. I made a couple of videos showing the design in this base. This was a base that I built just this expansion. Like, I did not have this base before this expansion. My last save is a hot mess. All right. So now that I got all this extra nuclear stuff going on, I'm going to get rid of my... Yeah. So it's time to get rid of these. And I'm just going to straight up delete him, and I'll just see... Oops. See if my Spidertrons will help out a little. Yeah. I use them to kind of speed up the deletion process, because they're all set up for like just defense and attacks, but they'll also pick stuff up and throw it back in the network. Well, I just started a few weeks ago, and your base looks so amazing and so organized. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is not like, I have another video like 2 videos ago where I showed my old base. This is a work in progress, and this is new. This is not what my base. This is not my starter base. Is my point. My starter base was a hot mess, and it was not organized, and it was not as efficient, and it just wasn't as well designed. This was something that is the reason why I'm even making these videos. Was something I set out with on this DLC. I wanted to make one of those like cool bases I see on Reddit, you know, where they got like the city blocks and everything. And I explained in that other video, I went into the editor and just made all these designs myself, and then this is what happened. I guess these guys are basically done. Send it back. And I have some junk on me too, so I'm gonna go back to my bot model here. Yeah, this was a lot of, this wasn't planned out per se, but this was a lot of like work. I had to go in the editor and make all these blueprints for like each block, and I generally design the blocks themselves I generally use a blueprint from the block themselves, or I always use a blueprint, and then I generally go around and make all the designs in the blocks by hand, like individually, just because I think that's kind of the most fun part of the game to me, is coming into a cell and then designing like the infrastructure, you know, like how do I want these machines to make stuff. Like, that's my favorite part. Or actually, there's just so many favorite parts of Factorio. That's the whole point. It's so fun. It's also fun to kill biters. It's fun to do a bunch of stuff. And there's another legendary assembly machine. Oh, and another one. Nice. And another one. That's what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, these bad boys are just not churning out any modules that I want. And it's just, that's exactly why I'm redoing all this base stuff so I can make this better. But first, let me use these assembly machines. So, these are already legendary. Oh, I wanted to make sure the efficiency ones were that one, that one. And I don't really know what to do with the last one, so I'll just store it for right now. Favorite part of Factorio is just learning, he said. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean when I said I like designing all this stuff, because you like learn like however way you want to do it. So I'm going to take all this extra science, just have my bots take it, organize it. Spoilage, take it, organize it, extra ammo. So the trash slots work the same way your logistics supplies work. Once you get robots, you just say however much stuff you want, and your bots will give you that. And if you don't want any more than that, you also put a maximum amount. So like, for instance, if I wanted to have 20 combinators on me, I would come over here and say I want 20, decider combinators, and I would hit 20 here, and then I only want 20. Then instead of leaving this as infinite, I would just put 20 here, and then it will only give me 20 decider combinators. Then if I, for some reason, had more, it would take the extra combinator and put it in the trash slot. And your trash slot is just literally, it's not like they destroyed or anything, so don't worry. Just take your items and put it into storage wherever they can find it. And there's an order to it. It gets a little complicated, but basically you're going to use these, what are these things called? Oh, just storage chests. You're going to use these storage chests for most of your storing. I like to put items I'm not actively going to use into storage chests, or items I'm not going to use to build something, and then items that are used for other items, for ingredients, or are being like moved around, then I will put them into passive providers. Because there's a few different chests here, so it's really complicated, like for new players. But the basic, I'll give you the basic rundown, because I also wanted to cover this in a video. So active provider chests, if you put an item in it, basically a logistics bot will come fly by and take it out as fast as possible. So think of these as temporary chests that you just want to put anything in your logistics network from that chest. So for instance, if I'll show you a use for it. So a use for it would be right here in this biter, captive biter spawner. If something spoils in it, like if these, for instance, this bioflux is going to spoil in 2 minutes, 58 seconds. When this spoils, the bioflux is going to turn to spoilage. It's going to be grabbed here by this inserter, and it's just grabbing spoilage and then thrown in this active provider chest. When it goes into the active provider chest, my bots, since it's in my logistics network, which is, within roboports and whatnot, a logistics bot will fly by, snatch it out, and then it will be in my network for whatever use. For instance, a spoilage specifically is going to probably be taken here and thrown into this recycler setup if it's over a certain amount, but that's complicated. It gets into circuits. I'm not really getting into that. But my point is, active provider chest, take an item that's and puts it in your logistics network. What it does in your logistics network is up to you, because that's a whole nother discussion. But so take an item, put it in your logistics network. The passive provider chest does the same thing, but it stores it. So it's not going to, it doesn't do the same thing. It stores an item for your logistics network. It doesn't take anything out or anything. So think of these as, with a yellow being like a traditional like steel chest, basically. That's basically what a yellow is, but for your logistics network. A red is more like, hey, this pull from here if you need it for ingredients or something. Because there's an order, and I actually think it pulls from the storage chest first, but I don't exactly remember. Let me see if I can actually look that up real quick, because that's so I'm gonna go to the wiki because this is the kind of stuff that people should, like a lot of people have questions about, and I wish more people would answer. So I'm on the wiki here. So let's look up because there's an order, and it's important to know the order, and it's also why I do things. Okay. So the logistic bots will pick up items from this box and move them to the player or requester chest, but only in this direction. This makes them useful for storing items assembled in any particular area. Useful as a buffer between belts or at the end of a belt. If you want the contained items to later be considered consolidated in storage chests, then use the active provider chests instead. So let's go to storage chest. Provider, storing items. This includes trees. Okay, so here it is. Notes. Logistics robots will pick up items in the following priority. Active provider chest, then storage chest, then buffer chest, then passive provider chest. So basically, go back to OBS and everything. Will you ever do or have you done a series? It will be really cool to see this rise from zero, and it's hard to find some tutorials. Mostly are outdated. Oh boy. I could do a new. The best I could probably do is a new save. I'm not that guy with Factorio. I feel like a lot of people don't explain things enough, so I do feel like a little hint of like obligation to explain things better. Like I'm trying to do these storage chests because I don't feel like people explain stuff, and a lot of stuff's confusing, you know. I'm gonna put some here. I'm just doing some quality stuff for a second here. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I could do a save from the beginning, but it's like, it's kind of, I don't even want to sound like I don't want to sound a certain way when I say this. I don't like the beginning of the game very much. There's nothing wrong with it, but I find it a little like, I don't know. I like this part of the game when you already have everything set up, but I should and probably will do some videos where I just start from scratch, just because, like you said, you know, it would be cool to see the rise from zero, because that part of the game, I think, confuses a lot of people, and they have questions. I need to do some more research next. And I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to pick some random stuff here. But, yeah, I mean, that's also why I've stopped and explained things. They don't. I just unlock the robots and procrastinate and use them because I have no idea they work. Nobody actually explains. Well, ask me any question you want about it, because it's really, robots are the best part of the game, arguably. But that's why I'm explaining these storage chests. So why, like, for instance, why am I using these passive providers for this part of the process instead of storage? Well, I just read that the robots are going to take from the storage chest first rather than the passive providers, and that means technically I should be using storage chests for this part, but it's kind of hard to explain. You basically, that's not really what I see other people doing. So I will just say use the storage chests as just regular chests, except your robots can pull from them and read from them. And then use your passive providers as your, you know, like, go-to in between storing them and making them useful for whatever you need. So continuing what I was saying too, there's two more chests as well. There's a buffer chest and a requester chest. Now the buffer chest confused the crap out of me for a very long time until I saw somebody on Reddit basically explain it as a buffer chest is basically a requester chest and a passive provider chest at the same time. So and which is like basically a definition of a buffer. Like I've explained in my other videos, all these chests here in between train loading are buffers for. It's basically saying if a train pulls up and these machines are still building stuff and there's not that many items in a belt, these chests will still have the items regardless of what's going on up here in production. These chests will always have, X amount of items. Therefore, they act as a buffer from low amount of items being produced, so your trains always get loaded faster. So using the same word buffer here, buffer chests can be a buffer for, you put stuff in them and you can pull stuff out of them, but you can also ask for stuff out of them too. So they're a mix of a requester chest and a passive provider chest. A use case for them, I do use them, and I'm gonna have to think of where I use them now. It's like there's not like a huge amount of use cases for them, but when they are used, it's very helpful. I might not even be using them on this planet, to be honest. I'm not using it on there. Let me see. I know I'm using them somewhere. Because, like I said, they are used for requesting something and providing that something is requesting at the same time, basically. Oh, this was bothering me so much in my last video. So I'm gonna fix this before it's not symmetrical. Anyway, buffers. So I don't have any buffer chests here. Do I have some here? I'm trying to like show an example of me actually using one, which is hilarious that I'm not really, as you can see, you really don't need to use them at all if you don't want to. They're kind of like trains. You don't have to use trains, but they have a use for sure. I mean, they're not like pretty much almost nothing is as useful as a train, but yeah, I don't freaking think I'm using any buffer chests. A good example, okay, I guess I'll just have to make an example of what I would use a buffer chest for. So, a good example would be is if I was building something and I wanted to request the items for that thing to be built, but I also wanted to make sure that these items could be used for something else. So they're kind of good for multi-product chain. Like it would be good for this part of my quality setup here. I could use them to request the ingredients to build something, and then robots can also pull from it to use those ingredients for something else. So that's buffer chest. It's really simple, but it's hard to explain. And then finally, requester chests, which are literally just you ask for stuff, your logistics robots will put it in there. That's literally all it does. It's just as simple as it gets. So those are all the. I'm explaining this because it goes with what you're saying about robots. So this is all tied to robots. All of these are called. I think there's a research for it. Let me see. It's a really cool picture. I always like this picture. There it is. It's called logistics system research, and it's basically these go hand in hand with your robots because your robot. This is how you remotely do stuff. Is your robots will take care of stuff for you. Is if you use these chests. These chests are a means to communicate with your robots what you want and where you want it. Oh, here's buffer chest right here. I didn't even notice. So I was sitting here complaining about buffer chests. I have it set up right here. So I'm using these buffer chests as a buffer to both request any ingredients that I specify from, in this case, logistics supplies from Vulcanus, and to supply them to my base if I need them. So I'm requesting, and if you click on a buffer chest, you can see I'm requesting turbo transport belts in this chest, but I'm also providing these belts to my base. So since I have all these in a buffer, I will, when a Vulcanus, my Vulcanus ship comes back after getting, the turbo stuff, it'll come back. I guess I can skip that part of the chain. Let's just say I end up with these eventually because they're requested. And then when I do stuff, like for instance here, I replaced all these belts with turbo belts. They pulled the turbo belts from these buffer chests. So, I knew I used buffer chests somewhere, but I couldn't think of where. So that actually made me really happy that I actually thought of where I was using it. Saw where I was using it. Logistics in the game is for real logistics. It's hardcore. I'm reading a text from my friend. if-then logic that has to be understood and implemented through triggers and min-maxes. It's insane having these done to it. Yeah, and there's so much more you can do with it too. Like I was showing, once you involve circuits with it, that's when you can really just go absolutely buck wild with logistics. But it helps to just think of this stuff as moving, is transportation. Like logistics is kind of like a word, like a semi-overcomplicated word for what you're doing. It's just transportation. So all this stuff, these chests, these belts, the robots, it's all transporting stuff. And to further explain robots and whatnot, let me go out because I'm still doing stuff here. So I need to replace these ore patches. So let's do this one by one. So this ore patch here can stay because I think I can fit this in a cell, and that's in a cell, so that's fine. That's a cell. Okay, here's where this is going to block a cell, and I don't like this. So I need to move this ore patch, or I need to get another source of iron ore, and that's why I saved this ore patch down here. So I'll use this. So what I was saying about logistics was it's basically just transportation. I want to use some real-world examples here as I'm doing stuff. I like to do things on foot. You can do this whole game after a certain point, everything just fully automated. Like you don't have to do anything in person, but I like to do stuff with my character. Okay, so I'm gonna have these. So I'm just gonna copy this design, and here's how robots work. That's why I'm showing you this. So I have this design up here where I have big drills putting iron ore in the belt, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna copy this design. So there's a couple ways I can do this. I can literally just eyeball it and then just do it by hand. The intelligent or efficient or easy, whatever way you want to think of it, is copy paste, and you have a tool for it. It's called copy, just like text. So you do this with robots. You can do this without robots, but if you don't have robots, you have to manually build what you copy. So like if I did that, I'd have to manually place that. So, but with robots, they'll automatically do it. So I want this, but down here. So what I'm going to do is come over here and copy this. So you can either hit, and it tells you, Control-C, or hit this button right here. So I usually just hit this button, to be honest, but Control-C is technically like easier, but I don't know. So do whatever works for you. I'm going to copy this because I'm copying this because there's also modules in here, and I want to copy the modules as well. I don't want to just slap miners down without the modules in it. And these are level 2s though, and I don't think I have that many level 2s. So let me come over to my mall and check it out. Yeah, I have like no level 2s, so I'm gonna have to use level 3s. And I got a lot, but not a ridiculously huge amount. So anyway, so I'm gonna copy this design, which is simply just the miners and a beacon and a, what is that called? Substation. And I have it also on my mouse. So like if I hit Control V, that pulls up my copy, or I can just thumb click on my mouse because I have one of those like mouses with a couple extra buttons. That's my Control V. But anyway, so as you can see, this is the design I copied. So I also didn't like how this is only, so I have all of these inserters, but I only have these 8 miners. So, and 2 lanes splitting into 8. So I'd rather have more lanes, right? Because look, these outer chests aren't even getting any iron ore. So let's make some more. So I'm gonna put one here. And I'm also gonna space these out because these big miners have, see that square on the outside of it? They take up a lot of space. They mine a lot, I mean. So I'm gonna wanna, I'm gonna put this a little further away. You stand where the edge of this line is, so right there's fine. So so this is 2 belts, right? So there's a belt here and a belt here. So, and I'm gonna output to 8 belts. So technically I want to have an 8 setup here, but I don't really need to because that's what splitters are for. And yeah, I guess that's good enough. So that's 3 belts. Let's And you know, there's so many different ways you can do this. This is just how I'm doing it. Like with miners, I mean, like there's so many different miner setups, like for efficiency or aesthetics. I usually go for aesthetics over efficiency, but I like a little bit of both. For instance, when I say efficiency, I mean these miners are so close to each other, they're kind of mining each other's stuff, like there's an overlap, and you don't have to do that, or you can go even more further into it, or you can avoid it altogether, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I mean by efficiency. Like, could this be better? Like, I say it's good enough, and it looks cool. So that's the main thing I'm worried about. Let's hook that up. So these are actually not sharing electricity. I don't like that. So I'll do that for now. This is not a great setup. Hold on. This is just ugly, and I'm not liking it. So let me fix this, because I said I like how stuff looks more so than how efficient it is. So symmetrically, that's out of the window because this is an odd number of tiles. So let's just furthest this can go. It's further and further away. You know what? That's fine. I'm just gonna have to suck it up and just use extra substations, unfortunately. Yeah, that's, you know what, whatever. That's good enough. So I got 3 belts here, 3 belts here. So let's do 6 to 8. And I'm gonna achieve that by bringing these belts up. Oop, that is ugly. Did not mean to do that. Gotta go, but loved your base and stream. Keep it up. I followed you, so I'll be watching again. Good stream. Thank you. Have a good one. Yeah, so I'm gonna... I don't know if I want these to go out a certain way or what, but... So when I was mentioning robots, this is the point of robots. So I like this design here. So I want these belts to do the same. So I just copy paste it, and then guess who slaps it down? My robots. Although this is 1 tile up, so I'm gonna undo that. And then put it 1 tile up. Alright. So there's 6 belts. I'm also going to need a train stop to pick this crap up. So put that there. Don't stop now. And this is going to be a 1 engine 4, what is this stuff called? 4 cargo wagon train setup. So general, that's another thing I never explained in any of my videos, was why I have this train setup. Because a lot of times people use different numbers of trains. So for instance, I have a engine and then a cargo wagon for most of my trains. However, for the actual resources, like the raw materials, like iron ore and copper ore and stuff, I have a 1 engine and 4 cargo wagon. That's generally only because you're going to need so many more of those resources than, and you're not going to need that many trains of them, if that makes sense. So it's like fewer trains, more resources, so I made the trains bigger. It's like quantity versus quality kind of thing. Whereas with every other train in the base, I don't need as many resources, so they're much smaller. So this is, again, going to be a 1, and you number them, and they're usually called, like the community calls them 1 to 4 or 2 to 1, whatever is how you call them. So a train that is 1 engine, and then 1 cargo wagon is a 1 to 4, a train that has 1 engine and 4 cargo wagons is a 1 to 4 train. So that's what this is going to be. And I might not have left enough room for this balancer here, but you see, it was a 6 to 8. That's probably not enough room, to be honest. But I could just balance it over here too. but then I'll have to change that belt design. So switch that horizontally, put this here, because I'm going to need a lot of space up here for the actual train stop as well, which will be basically this. And unfortunately, can't really copy this kind of stuff well. I can copy that part, but it gets... I'll show you why it's annoying. And why are these not getting... Oh, because I don't have any 2s. So I'm going to have to change that. So these need to have 3s in them instead. So let's go ahead and just do this. Change all these to 3s. And when I say 2s and 3s, I mean the productivity module 2s and 3s. And then speed module 3s for these beacons. And my robots are going to take care of all this stuff for me. So let's put a 6 to 8. You know, I think I should do the station first, the unloading station or the pickup station. So I want it to be probably like right here or right here. So this is in the way, so I'm going to have to move this. Let's move it like right there. Okay, you guys go in here and get out of my... Oops. What a blunder. I meant to say only have 160 construction robots on me because that's all my armor can hold because I have these personal roboports. But anyway, so let's say the unloading or the loading, I should say, should be like right here-ish. So do this as well. Let's put it like right there. And I have most of the materials for it, but not 100% of them. And then the other side, and I like to load the cargo wagons from both sides because it's just that much more, that much faster, I should say. There's rail signals in the way, but that's okay because I'm getting rid of it. Here. Oh man, I should have moved this first. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move all of these over. The thing about rails is they are just not aligned with everything. So like when you design something, you have to design it a certain way. And this is a good example. So this train station is gonna have to gonna have to be right there, and then I will have to have the, there we go, inserters lined up like that. Okay. And then finally the signal. You don't have to do your signals like this for rails, but this is how I'm doing them, just to it keeps the lines clear. And then finally, since this is totally not enough power, let's put some substations here. Oh, this is kind of annoying. Okay. So these aren't getting any power. How do I solve this issue up here? Is another thing about using your own designs. I just put one right there and right there. Okay. So I'll just have to put a substation here, and then one pretty close, but not too close. And I don't think I need to build a train for this. Is there a gas up here or fuel for the train? No, there's not. So then I won't put fuel here either. So, okay, so there's the unloading or the loading station for the train. So, and here's the ore. So now, how do I get this ore from the miners to the actual train? Well, we're going to do what's called a balancer. And this is what balancers do, is they take, in this case, I have 6 belts of ore, but I have 8, or I'm going to have 8 lanes of unloading here. How did I do this over here again? 3 and 3, okay. There's so many different ways you can make unloading stations, but this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I do it. So all together, all of these are going to be 8 lanes of copper, so or iron ore. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's 6 lanes of actual ore being mined. So 6 to 8. So I have 6 lanes of iron ore going out, and they're going to come into 8 lanes of iron ore on belts. So that is a 6 to 8 balancer, and this is just a blueprint book. I said this in like an older video. All my designs are mine except for balancers because they're like ridiculously annoying to make yourself. And one item from Neil House, which was this logistics mall, which I've said before in my last video, I can do them myself. I just like his design, that's all. So when you come to my 6 to 8 balancer, now I'm gonna have these loaded probably. The thing with balancers is you got to put them at a certain spot so that it's not like, if I put it too close to here, there's not enough room for the belts. You have to account for all the belts you're about to move around. So if I do it like this will be the easiest on this to go into the loading station, but to get to this balancer, it'll be really annoying, but I actually kind of like that. So that's what I'm going to do. The wrong keys. All right. So now I just need to get these belts over here. And the easiest way to do that is to redo these belts, basically. So, or the most aesthetic way to do it. So I'm going to redo these. So the first one is just going to come straight out. The second one is going to come one over. And this is how you make those like cascading belt designs. This is what it does. Or this is how it happens. Okay, so there's 3 there. There. So I'll do these 3 first because these are the ones. This is just so that I don't have to use any undergrounds, basically. If I do it this way, if I did these first, then I would probably have to use some undergrounds. Or this just ensures we just go straight to the bouncer. Done deal. Looks like I ran out of belts on me. And this is why I have this logistics supplies, because my robots could be giving me these items, but I'm not actually in my logistics network, which I was going to explain to the person I was chatting with. But your logistics network for your coverage, the green is where the construction robots can build, the orange is where your logistics robots can supply stuff. So it's kind of like the 2 different colors indicate 2 different areas, and it's a whole thing. door I have on me. So this train stop's pretty much good to go, so I'm going to go ahead and indicate it as such. So this is an iron out train stop, so I'm going to go ahead and copy that, paste it, and then now trains will know to come in here to pick up iron ore. Since I did that, however, I'm going to get rid of this. Hey.
You ate all the donuts.
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because they're going bad. So I was like, and I was hungry.
They're donuts.
There's chips in the pantry.
I don't want chips, I want donuts.
I'm sure you do.
You're so mean. You didn't save me any of the
I saved them for like 3 days.
See how bad of a husband
Oh,
he is?
yell at my ear.
You deserve it.
They were sitting in there for days, and this is such a husband and wife, like, lame-ass conversation. They were sitting there for several days, so they were. Because we didn't go to the store for several days.
You went to the store and you got more donuts.
I know I didn't. Okay, so now the train's automatically picking up. You can take the cat. And it's just that easy. I do need to get rid of this stop. Okay, I already got rid of the stop, so now I need to get rid of all this stuff. And this is gonna suck because this is gonna add so much extra ore to my base, and I don't want it, but what can you do? Excuse me. So let's get rid of it. And I'm just using generic deconstruction planner here because I don't like. I'm not trying to. I don't care about what I'm taking down. You know, like it's all coming down. That's my point. It's like it's indiscriminate. Just delete it, get it out of here. Although I guess this won't be supplied anymore. So let me go ahead and fix that real quick. That should do it. Yeah, exactly, because reading your text. I'm gonna have to go to the store again, and I'm not gonna like it. I just noticed this is cut off, so we fix that too. This part of my base, which I've explained in an older video, is from my old base, so it is. I'm trying to keep it connected because I'm going to utilize the space, just not right now. So. And that's actually what I'm doing right now. All this work is to move up to that. And unfortunately, all these chests are full of iron ore, so I'm going to have so much extra iron ore. It's going to be so lame. You know what I could do is kind of carry it and catch trains with it, but it's... I could do what Dosh always does. He uses what's called priority splitter, and he basically takes something and then puts it into something else, and like prioritizing the splitter. Yeah, you see here comes all the iron ore that I don't need. So I'll probably end up doing that. Another legendary. Still terrible quality module though. Which is a shame because that's why I'm doing this. It's a shame because it sucks, but I'm literally doing all these renovations to supercharge my quality production. So I'm going to start the quality production from scratch. Like I'm going to have quality iron ore, and you can do this from spaceships. You don't have to do it on base or on planet, but I like doing stuff on planet. I don't like using your spaceships for much other than just being a spaceship. But that's just me personally. Oh, so I have all this extra iron ore, and I don't want to have to do anything with it, but I'm going to have to. Yeah, these filled up quick. Okay, so that's one station down. See how much work this is. the next station I need to remove is this one, and then finally that one. So now I need this copper to be... I need to get copper from somewhere else nearby. And there's plenty of copper around. Oh, I was going to use these two patches right here. So I could use this patch or this patch for copper. I really don't feel like it, though. I also need to check some stuff. So it's what's called analysis paralysis, when you think about stuff you need to do and would rather do something else. It's just a fancy way of saying procrastinating. I gotta check something. Maybe it was on Fulgora. Okay, yeah. So my Fulgora steel is getting wildly out of control. So a good way to deal with steel I've seen is to turn it into steel chests before you recycle it. So let's do that, because this steel is just way out of here. So let's make a little steel setup here. And this should take care of all this. Hopefully all this extra steel. I'm just gonna basically turn it into steel chests and then yeet it the fuck out of the universe. And my Fulgora base, I don't really care how it looks as much, so it gets a little ugly. Okay, so that should take a ton of extra steel and get rid of it. And I can come over here and check my steel level. It is dropping quickly. When it drops to too low a level, I'll get rid of this probably, but for now it's fine. Oh, I fixed my holmium solution shortage, and I did that by, I cut off these trains. I brought the other train here next to this station, and then I just have it on the track. I use some signals to basically say, you guys are both on the same track. Just watch this crossing here. Watch crossing here, and then watch crossing here. This is like the most bare minimum setup for train signals for one-way track with two trains on it and small intersections. So just checking to see if these mining drills are still good to go. They are. So my steel is way too high. My low density structure is a little too high too. I have to deal with that. Plastic's okay. Holmium ore is good. Everything is okay. It's just the steel and low density is a little too high. Same with concrete. What's going on with concrete? I explained my little setup in another video. Oh, it's way too high then. Okay. Do something about that too. But that's Futuroloid's problem. Landfills, or foundations, coming along nicely, which is great. Need as much as possible. Oh, that's what I wanted to show. So if you look at scrap on Fulgora, like most of the scrap piles are like really small. Like this is 3.1 million, even though it's the size of this whole island. This is only 512K. Like it's garbage. 4 million, like not that much. But if you come to these little small islands, the number is enormous. 200 million, 200 million, 200 million. So the developers basically encourage you to use these little crappy scrap piles to get your base started or to do what you can. And then once you get foundation, come over to these little small islands. And that's where the real like scrap amount is. So I grabbed some foundation, not much, because it's insanely difficult to make, like to start off with anyway. And I'm gonna start getting the scrap here, but not right now because I'm still using the scrap. So that's a Futuroloid problem as well. But that's enough procrastinating. Time to do something about this copper. So again, I really don't like that setup because it's 2 beacons. Yikes. Yeah, I'd rather have just one beacon for 4 miners instead of 2 beacons for 2 miners. 2 beacons for 4. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna copy this and put it down here, basically. So let's just copy this whole thing. Now the trick is very important. If you're mining 2 ores near each other, do not mine both ores unless you're aware of it and you're doing you're using splitters and stuff and you're just all over it. But don't do it. Just pay attention where you're mining. So if I mine right here, it should just be copper. Let's zoom in. Copper, right? This is all copper. If you look at expected resources, copper. If I go 1 pixel over, boom, iron. So you have to be very careful where you're mining, and that's with regular mining drills too. It's not just because it's a big mining drill. So it's just iron, or it's just copper, and then 1 pixel over iron. So make sure when you're mining stuff, you don't want blended resources unless you know what you're doing or you plan on it. So I'm gonna try to just stay out of the way of that. And check your drills to make sure the expected resource is just what you're mining and not anything else. I've had so many issues. Maybe it's just a me thing. I've had a lot of issues with that. This is going to be interesting because this is right next to the train tracks. So I'm going to have to do a stop. Like, this train stop's going to... I might have to put the stop right here, like a vertical stop instead of a horizontal, but we'll see. Why does this not have any power? Is there not a power pole right here? No, there is not. So let's go ahead and fix that. Let's put one right there. Here. I just keep coming over here, just checking on quality. Ooh, another one, nice. What is this? Assembly machine. Let's go here. Okay, so I got 3 more legendary assembly machines. They're all used in the stuff I want. So I can... I guess I got 2 extra ones now. So I'm finally starting to get some extra ones. So I'm just going to store these for now. Okay. Let me stay here. And you know what? I was mentioning this at the beginning of the video that I have not gotten any biter attacks because I sent out my Spidertrons and cleared any nests inside this pollution cloud. So that's the trick to getting rid of biters. See how these guys aren't attacking me? See, they're sitting right there? It's because they are outside of the pollution cloud. Now, as I build more, this pollution cloud is going to spread, and it will inevitably get absorbed by them, and then they'll attack. But and then when they do, I can either hit them with some artillery or send out the Spidertron. So that's how you stop biter attacks from even starting, is deal with your pollution. And unfortunately, in the base game, your pollution is basically, it is what it is. But in mods, you can there's things you can get to mitigate pollution. I mean, you can get trees and stuff like, there's some stuff that absorbs pollution, but not in like a hugely meaningful, like noticeable way, unless you use an absolutely eye-watering like amount of trees. It's like, you know, it's like. Go ahead, just empty these out. Anyway, I'll keep procrastinating. This is literally me procrastinating in real time. Because I really don't like to do stuff like this, but it needs to be done. Okay, so these guys are not being built because they are outside of my logistics network. So you can see that thin strip between the green where they're just a little bit outside. So I have to build another RoboPort. I'll just put it like right here. Let's put a couple here. Actually, I don't even need that there. Let's put this here and that'll cover the whole thing. And again, let's get a 6 to 8 balancer. Let's just do... And a nice rule of thumb is if you're not sure how far to put something, count the number of belts you have. So I'm getting... There's 3 belts here and 3 belts here, and I want a 6 to 8 balancer nearby. So don't put it like right here, because that's not going to be enough room for all your belts to converge. So just count 6 belts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll put it there. So let me see here, here. Whoops. I want this to be a little symmetrical, so do like that. And like that. And then that's gonna be that'll turn to 8, and then 8 will come over here to an unloading station. Actually, I just realized if I put this here, there's no way for the train to turn around. So I'm going to have to come up with a way for it to turn around. But that's easy. You use what is a loop. I'll just copy this one. Unfortunately, this is a little too narrow here, so I'm going to have to, let me see here. Either have to make the loop bigger, or so let's just copy that part of the loop. And you never know how big you're gonna need this crap, so or how far away it's gonna be. So let's just do this, and then do that. There we go. And that's perfect, except guess what? That's not big enough for a train. So let's go ahead and cut this and move it down way more. Let's move it down to like here. There we go. And that should be enough room for a train stop. Why can't I build circles and railroad tracks? My shit just goes in like 45-degree angles. Train tracks are really annoying, dude. That's why. So let me show you some stuff with trains. That's why most people, if you're gonna blueprint anything, blueprint rails, because they are really annoying. So if you want to make a circular rail, you have to do it as small as pieces as possible. So what's the most you can curve is right there. Then it's like, what's the most I can curve? Like that. And then you just keep going. What's the most I can curve? And you just keep going. And then look, this isn't even symmetrical. So it's like, then you got to back it up. And then get rid of the excess. So to like make curves, you have to just basically like you're messing with hair. You have to like fuss with it and then make it as small as little pieces as possible to get a desired curve. The easiest way to do it is sit there and mess with it like I just did, and then immediately blueprint it as soon as possible so you never have to do it again. So like I made a little loop-de-loop like this, or a little loop, and then I immediately blueprinted it because I was like, I do not want to make this loop again. It's really annoying. Okay, so there's the loop. This must be our logistics network, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna have to let's just put one because I don't want to be too close to the unloading of the train. And then let's get some power to it. This, and in case anybody was wondering too, there's a reason why there's so many different power poles. The medium one is great. It has a nice range and a decent amount of power supplied to it, right? The big electric pole has a terrible range, for power, but look how far it stretches in connection. It goes really far. Like, look at that. Look how far those 2 points are from this one to this one. Look how far that stretches. So that's why people use these. And then finally, substations are just amazing amount of power area supplied, and the stretch isn't bad either. So that's why you use different types of power poles. So basically, use these because they're cheapest, easiest to use. Use these for distance, and then use these for coverage. Okay. I'm not sure if I can fit this train station in here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess that works. It's gonna be a little tight, but it'll work. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's put it like right here. I don't want it too far up or too far down. Although I think this is the wrong track. No, that's fine because it can just loop. So this train, whenever a train's going to come into the station, it's going to come around whatever direction. It's going to go down here, loop around, and then end up at the station. So let's get... I did not mean to build this here. I always build stuff off of the rails. The main line, I mean. And I don't even know. Yeah, there's not even enough room for this branch here. So, you know what? That's fine. No other train's going to come here anyway. It's literally the end of the line. Probably don't even need to do this at this point. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. At the end here. And then copy the unloading, and then this will be done. Loading, I mean. So this one doesn't have as many. I noticed this isn't quite the same design. So I want to copy. I like this iron ore design better. look how loaded up this is here. So let's copy this whole mamma jamma. And your train stops will default to some generic name like Paul Monroe. It's like, I think it's Patreon backers or early access backers or something. So let's put this here. Ooh, that is almost on the curve. That is dangerously close. And there's a signal right here. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, why did I put the signal here? It's too close. Right there. Then we're going to copy this and reverse it. Okay, so there's the 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then we're going to need power. Unfortunately, I have to mess around a little bit to get power to these bad boys by putting one here and then one like here. Okay, finally. So let's get these onto thingamajig. And when you're building these big like belts, like layouts like this, it's always a good idea to kind of do what I'm doing, where it's like it cascades down. That makes it look more symmetrical, and only for aesthetics, mind you. It's not more efficient per se or anything, but it makes it look way more symmetrical and flowy and just nice. If you just throw the belts wherever you want, that's why you get those kind of like spaghetti belts. But if you lay it out like this, where I see how I spaced it, where only 2 are going here, 2 are going there, there's a space right here. Just makes it look so much nicer, especially like from the map view. Like that's where you get these little cascading designs where it's just like a staircase almost. But anyway. So that is finished. The belts are finished anyway. We'll just copy the station. And I'm just going to control click here. And there is fuel on this station, so I'm going to have to add fuel to this one down here. And there we go. And now that is set up, I'm going to delete this station, and I'm going to get another metric crap ton of ore I'm going to have to deal with. Let's just put the fuel supply right there. Alright, so there's successful copper. What am I doing with this iron ore? Let me see how much I have. So I have 26,000 iron ore, or 48,000 iron ore, 26,000 copper ore. Like, yikes. I think I'm gonna end up getting some requester chests and just priority splitting it into these lines, because it is just, I already have so much ore, like I don't need any more. You know, like good lord. Or splitting it at the source. I guess I can put it like right here or something. I don't know. It's not anything to worry about, but it is just extra garbage. You know, like you don't need that much stuff after a certain point. These are about full, so to garbage you go. Yeah, uranium is one of those products that you just don't have a use for. Like I generally don't throw anything away or recycle it off unless like I'm talking about Fulgora. Like even these yellow belts I'm keeping. But uranium 238 anyway, not the why is this? Oh, because it's only crafting menu. Uranium 238 is just not that useful by itself after, you know, other than a couple very specific use cases. 235, you can definitely hoard to a certain extent because you need it for, at like one of the final things you can make is nukes or atomic bombs. Not one of the final, but one of the most important things you can make. Besides just obviously using it for nuclear fuel and stuff. So it's okay to have too much of the 235. 238 though, you just don't need it other than really for ammo. So that's the main thing I use it for is ammo. And just enriching the enrichment process to make 235 in the first place. So I literally just destroy it when it's full. I have no use for it, you know. And the uranium is very easy to come by depending on your map. So it's not like it's hard to get more uranium. Like, look, there's a patch here, there's a patch here, there's a patch here. Like, there's usually, even if you're like turn on some really tough settings, you'll still get your money's worth with uranium. Like, uranium is not. There's very few times where you hear a Factorio player say, "I don't have enough uranium" after they, you know, get Culver-X enrichment up. You know, we got 5 epic solar panels now. Okay, so that's copper setup. This does not have Roboport logistics coverage, so let's just slap one right here. Screw it. Or actually, I like that idea better. Let's link all of them with this one. Okay, unfortunately now I'm just gonna get an absolute metric crap ton of copper ore I'm going to have to deal with. And I actually wouldn't recommend doing this, or the only reason I'm really doing this is because I didn't plan ahead. So this is, it's not really a cautionary tale because this isn't a big deal, but it's more just a minor inconvenience. But if you don't plan ahead with your base, you have to do stuff like this. So if I would have planned ahead, I would have not put stuff here, and then I would have, and I even thought to myself, like, I'm going to go ahead and use this space later, but I still built here just because I was lazy, and that's what happens when you're lazy. I also hate this intersection, and I wanted to fix it because this needs to also, or this needs to come into this right here. But I think the problem is I can't. Kind of weird. It's a weird. The problem is I have two different rail elevations. I got the top elevation, and then it comes down to ground level, and then so I'd have to get this upper one to go down to ground level. So it has this weird kind of like non-symmetrical design. I'm not a big fan of, but it works. It's fine. Yeah, this is going to take a while to drain all these bad boys. See if my Spidertrons will help a little bit. Well, at least I got the power cut off here. So like I said, I'm going to clear all these off. Clear all this stuff out. I'll probably use this for the oil instead of this over here. And this is all going to be just further expansion for my base. In particular, probably quality stuff. Yeah, my power is exactly what it was before. It was 5.6 gigawatts. But it is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 2x2 nuclear reactors. So 8 times 4. So it's 32 nuclear reactors are supplying power for the base. And then 4 fusion reactors and several hundred solar panels. Keep emptying these because I did not use a circuit design to control that. I tried, and I had a pump controlled by circuits dealing with this, but it was annoying. And I also need more. What's it called? Oh, this is full. Okay. Ice platforms. I have too many. And I was actually hoping for this day would come because I have too many ice platforms, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to use them. Oops. I don't want quite that much, though. I'm just going to copy all of this space. Oops. All this space ice platformed. And that should use up like basically all my ice platforms, and I'll free up some space in these chests. Because I want this Aquila base to be a lot better, so I need more space to do that. So this is all, and that's the point of the stream, is that you take small steps to make effort, to make changes. Like Factorio, you don't have to do everything at once. Like that's why everybody's played this game for thousands of hours, because it takes thousands of hours to do stuff. It's like you can't just like start it up and then build like the most amazing base in 5 minutes. It takes a while. So that's why this freaking save file is 214 hours, because it took me 214 hours to get to this place. You know, it takes a long time. Okay, my Spyrotrons are here. Looks like they're not really doing anything at all. So it looks like all of these... looks like all of these robots are full. So I'm going to put down a chest to help them out here. And then I'll deal with that. Why are you just sitting here? Like, There is no more. The train's not here anymore, my guy. No more train. Train bye-bye. Or train stop, I mean. Yeah, the train stop is down here. Come to this one. There you go. And let me... Yeah, there he is. Yeah, come if you want copper, come down here because I moved it. And this is way further than the copper where it was, but that's fine. Not having like all these cells of production are just really, they're fine. Why are you guys not building this? It's like one of the problems. Okay, now why aren't you guys dropping it off? I'm gonna have to go up here myself, aren't I? It's one of the problems when you build stuff really big or you're doing big projects is your robots, when they tear stuff down, they'll just get absolutely like bamboozled, absolutely dumbfounded. They just won't know what to do. So they're saying there's not enough logistic network storage space available, and there obviously is. So you have to fix that. Oh no, don't you take stuff too. Oh no. Yeah, I don't want that. So I put down some chests and they're just not using them because they're not in the logistics network. So I need to put them right here. There we go. Alright, guys? Why are you still not doing it? Yeah, it's mystifying really why they do this. I put passive providers down and it still does it. Yeah, I don't really know the solution for when they do this. The only thing I do usually is just manually come over here and help them pull their heads out of their butts because they're just that annoying. So I'm just gonna put these in here and just have to manually take all the ore off of them because that's just what happens, man. It's like, it just sucks. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm grabbing these robots too, but that's okay. They're just floating in the air anyway. You guys go help out over there. Yeah, plan your bases, folks. Plan your bases, and then you won't have to do stuff like this. Unfortunately, it looks like the Spidertron's kind of just stopped. Yeah. You know what? You guys aren't really helping if you're not going to pick anything up, so just come back. And I'll just have to do all of it myself. This is why I didn't want to do this originally, because I knew this was going to happen. And it happens when there's just that much product, and it's just like maybe I'm just... It's not even a logistics network, because I even put chests in the network. They just don't want to use them, because probably I just need to put a RoboPort down or something. It's just how it is. Crap. In fact, let me grab a RoboPort and see if that helps. Yeah, that's what it was. Great. Okay, 10 years later, since I have a RoboPort here now, they're actually gonna take this crap. So let me just do that, and then you guys take all that crap, and I can finally go back to the bot mall and relax. and I still have more to do. It's like, you know, I thought I was going to be able to start quality here, but it's like I'm going to have to start ramping up my quality production, but I still have so much more work to do. But this is why I keep playing this save. Like, I should start a new save. Like, I was talking to that person earlier, wanting to see the process from the beginning. It's kind of not pretty too. Like, you're not gonna like looking at my base before it gets to this level. It's not gonna be pretty. I don't know why I have so many rockets on me. And a little bit more copper on me. Get out of here. Okay, so now how much copper? Oh, 87k. That is just way too much copper ore. What I'm gonna end up doing probably is getting a requester chest and taking all of it and then priority inputting it somewhere else, like probably at an ore loading station like here. But not right now. Oh, I didn't even notice these. Get out of here. You get the ore too. I think they should. And then finally, all I have to do is get rid of these two stations. So I need another copper ore and an iron ore station. So there's iron right here. I just need another copper station. And I do not like mixing cells, but I might have to. So all the copper is, or I can just take this red circuits and move them somewhere else and then use this as a copper cell circuit. Or I mean, as wow, as a copper ore cell. But yeah. Double check some stuff here. Okay, so they can't even get to this little patch here, unfortunately. So I used, it looks like a lot of my ice platforms, which is good. The whole point is I wanted to just, I'm not wasting them, I actually need to keep using them, so. Let's put another RoboPort down here. Do I have a substation connected? Oh, I need to heat these two. I freaking forgot. Alright, just forget it. Just forget all that. This is why I hate Aquilo. Like, I cannot with Aquilo. Like, so I was gonna put another RoboPort here to get this last bit, but I would have to heat it in addition to getting power to it, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to deal with that right now. But I'm gonna have to. My long-term plan is to just get way more land real estate here, and then I'll probably fly to the planet myself and hand do it and just redo a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm mostly using requesters, like bots, basically, and I would like to use a little bit more belts, but belts are really annoying on Aquilo, like most things are. So I don't know. I just want to clean it up because it's a little messy. You guys done? Oh, science is low. Okay. When my science is low, I just do this. I mean, my space science. This ship just does space science, so it's like I got it. I just don't like having it set to like automatically launch the science because it'll just build up over time, be too much, and it just launches non-stop. It's like really annoying. So if we look here, you can see all the science landed, and my bots will take care of the rest by taking it into. See, and then these are buffer chests. There's another use for buffer chests. So these are requesting science. and they're also supplying science if I need it elsewhere, which I don't, but I put them in buffers just in case I did. So that's... What is this? Scrap recycling? Oh, yeah, and I'm researching some scrap recycling productivity because Fulgora is and always will be like bottlenecked by your scrap and what you're doing with it. So I gotta make sure that I got my scrap taken care of. It's like I want as much scrap as possible. 4 regular Mac. You're supposed to be requesting anything less than this, and you are not. Yeah, isn't that the less than symbol? It is. Less than rare quality. Request it, but it's not. See, I'm waiting for you. Weird. Or maybe it was because it was set to 0. Oh, you can't. Just curious about that. So I'm slowly, passively working on quality mech armor, but I'm just really not. It's not that big a deal. My mech armor is just... Oh, this is another thing in portable fusion reactors. I think my last video I was using the portable fission reactor, I believe. Yeah, portable fission reactor, which is 750 kilowatts power, and then the fusion is 2.5 megawatts. So it's a lot more power, but you don't really need it, especially at this point in the game. It's just something I've built since it's part of Quilo stuff. I got some more. I'll mess around with those later. Those are like another end game item because they require quite a lot of resources from every planet basically to build. So we got tungsten plates from Vulcanus, supercapacitors from Fulgora, carbon fiber from Gleva, quantum processors from Aquilo, and portable fission from basically Novice or wherever. So it requires a lot of stuff. So I just built some, and then I'll worry about the quality of those later. Yeah, I think that's about it for now on this stream. I'm gonna keep plugging at this freaking stuff. Like, I'm gonna take care of these 2 train stops, take care of this one, and then I'm gonna start building my quality production up here. And when I say start with the quality, because I'm already doing some quality stuff, I mean from the absolute most fundamental level. So like, the first step of production is ore. So I'm gonna get miners and I'm gonna slap quality modules in them. And then I'm going to basically take the quality ore and make quality products, or quality ingredients, and then with quality ingredients make the quality products. So that way you kind of get rid of the RNG. Yeah, notice how this entire video I have not gotten attacked by any biters outside of the base. That was just an egg spoiled. So that was because of my Spidertron army. Like these guys take care of whenever I get an attack from outside the base, I send them out, and then they'll deal with it. In fact, let me finish the video with these guys taking. Let me show you how badass these little Spidertron guys are. They're a little slow though because I need to get better exoskeletons for them. Which is one of the things I'm going to be making quality is just I want everything to be better. So I'm taking all this old stuff, or regular quality level, and recycling it because I don't need it. I'm just using the parts to make more of it. Where are you guys at? Okay. I just want to show, I don't know why this guy is lagging because he has the same exoskeleton as the rest of them. Right? Oh, no, he doesn't. Okay, so that's why he's so slow. All right, I'll keep that in mind. So blue, you looking at? Oh. Oh, yeah, I know. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, but I was like, okay, probably a bot or something. I figured it's a bot because of the picture, but I don't know. Okay, so let me show you what the Spidertrons can do here. Yeah, they're just a kill squad, execution squad. Goodbye, biters. Lost a robot. No. So anyway, that's the stream. I'm gonna get off here. I'll stream again, but that's what I was working on today. And you can. What are you doing? Okay. Bye.